Hello. This video is about my report on the American Israel Public Affairs Committee convention that just concluded in Washington that I attended. I know the anti-Semites and the anti-Zionists will not like this, so this is not for you. This is for people that care about freedom and peace and what's good in the world. The American Israel Public Affairs Committee is the official registered lobby for Israel. I've gone to the conference the last few years. It's a terrific conference to learn about Israel and to gain strength that there is a great strategic alliance between the United States and Israel. This year there were 7,500 delegates, and it's amazing. The big dinner, the last night of the conference on Tuesday night, there was almost half the United States Senate and half the House of Representatives there. The plenary sessions have the big names. Secretary of State Rice spoke this year. All three presidential candidates, although by the time the Democrats spoke, it was already decided, very dramatically. John McCain spoke. Obama and Hillary spoke, but they spoke Wednesday morning, and Tuesday night Obama was in St. Paul basically declaring that he had won. So it was a little anticlimactic, but quite historic. They were speaking when he was clearly the nominee for the Democratic Party. Prime Minister Omer spoke Tuesday night. Senate Majority Leader Reid, House Majority Leader Pelosi, Republican House Minority Leader Boner. I mean, it was just amazing, these speakers. Then there were breakout sessions, and you got your choice of dozens and dozens of the world's experts on the situation. I went to one on the strategic alliance between the U.S. and Israel on missile defense, what the United States is doing to help Israel defend itself against all these missiles. Went to one on peace prospects for the Palestinians in Israel. And then there were some just for rabbis. There were 170 rabbis and cantors there. Natan Sharansky, I already have a video previous to this on his new book, Identity, and he spoke to us about it and gave his strategic analysis too. So I want to just mention my take on the issues, and of course there's been some development since. I was in Israel with a group just before the conference, and in the middle of the trip, we learned that Israel and Syria had been having negotiations for a while. Now, Syria is on the north border of Israel, kind of on the right-hand corner, and there's no peace agreement now between them. There is between Jordan and Egypt and Israel. They have the Golan in between them. The Golan is a mountain area that Israel now controls. Syria had for a few years. They want it. The problem is that when they had it, they had soldiers up there. They didn't do anything with it except shoot down on Israeli villages below. Nobody knows whether the Israeli-Syrian agreement was announced because the Prime Minister of Israel is in so much trouble he wanted to deflect attention from it. And Israel's strategic interest is getting them out of the Iranian orbit because Iran more and more is using Syria as a proxy. The United States has not favored negotiating with Syria because they're a terrorist group, so that was an issue. And Secretary of Rice said the United States thinks it's not sure what the United States position is on that. It wasn't clear. In terms of Lebanon, while we were there in Israel, Syria, Hezbollah, which are proxies of Iran, got more control of Lebanon. And Secretary Rice said she thought that was a good agreement that they made finally. But of course, we're all nervous because Hezbollah now has 30,000 or 40,000 rockets versus the 15,000 they had during the summer when they were shooting them in Israel. And Lebanon in the hands of Hezbollah is not a good thing because they're vowed to destroy Israel. And then on the left-hand flank of Israel, you've got Gaza on the southern border by Egypt, which Israel withdrew from unilaterally to see if the Palestinians could make peace, and all they succeeded doing in the Palestinians is throw missiles every day at Sderot and killing Israelis. And so it's pretty clear that Israel is going to have to go in with a huge military operation to clean out the terrorists. It's going to cost a lot of Israeli lives and unfortunately Palestinian lives. But what do you do? No sane city in the world or country in the world would allow itself to be shot at with missiles every day and do nothing. The citizens of Israel are demanding action, and Hamas just has vowed to destroy Israel. So one of the big issues is, oh, why don't you talk to them? Well, the position of the United States and Israel is until they renounce violence, until they agree to accept past agreements with the Palestinian authorities, and until they recognize Israel, what's to talk about? What's to talk about? And but of course they won't do that. They're vowed to destroy Israel. Kind of like Arafat, who founded the Palestine Liberation Organization in 1964, before Israel had the West Bank and Gaza. That was 1967. So what did he want to liberate? He wanted to liberate all of Israel. He wanted to destroy all of Israel. That leads me to the main roadblock now, which is circulating in the world this idea that there's no two-state solution. In other words, a Palestinian and Israeli state. There should be one state, that the Jews in Israel should be part of a larger non-Jewish state. So, okay, so of 23 Arab countries, 22 Arab countries, and no Jewish country, you know what will happen to Jews in an Arab country? The same thing that happens to them anywhere in the world now. Versus the Arabs who live in Israel are the freest Arabs in the world. They have the best education. They're the only place they can vote. There's no Arab that lives in Israel that wants to live in another Arab country because they have it so good. But the session I went to on the prospects for peace with the Palestinians, basically the West Bank Palestinians now, the ones controlled by Abbas, is more favorable. There's actually very serious negotiations going on day by day. There's huge issues, obviously, and one of the big issues is Jerusalem. And that came into play with Obama's big speech, where he mentioned great support for Israel, but he mentioned that Jerusalem will remain undivided. And the next day, there's been stories about this in the paper, after the conference, his advisors backed off on that and said, really, it's subject to the final negotiation. So a lot of Jews in America think that he's backtracking and that... but the New York Times long article pointed out, and I'll put this on my blog, Israel the Greatest blog, New York Times points out that Obama's position that at the AIPAC convention that Jerusalem should remain undivided, that none of it should go to the Palestinian state, is further than many Israeli leaders are thinking. And of course it'll be subject to final negotiation. And personally, I mean, I don't think the old city should ever go back to the Arabs. It's a Jewish city. But there's a big chunk of Jerusalem that's in the hands of all Arab. So I know a lot of pro-Zionists will think this is heretical, but what's the difference if that little piece of it goes to a Palestinian state? Okay, so then you've got the issue of Iran, and everybody's on the same page about how Iran can't have nuclear weapons, except Iran, of course, wants them. And the only question is, will Israel or the United States resort to military violence if sanctions aren't increased enough? And the problem with sanctions is that a lot of the world's not on board, Russia and China, with increased sanctions to try and force Iran to back off. And there was a really ridiculous study last year that said that they're not pursuing nuclear weapons, but that's been completely repudiated by the balanced community. And everybody at the conference who spoke about this basically said within a year, well, this issue will have to be resolved. By the next conference, next May, they'll have to resolve one way or another. We can't allow Iran to have nuclear weapons. I give this during the week in which the Jewish people read the Haftorah of the Samson, who arose in a time of great danger with the Philistines to help the Jewish people and save them. Wish we had a Samson today, because these are very serious issues. And it's not time for weakness, it's time for strength. But I came away with the overall impression, besides learning a lot at that conference, as being with 7,500 Jews and non-Jews. There were Hispanics there and African Americans there and evangelical Christians there, standing in solidarity with us to support the great democratic state of Israel, the freest democracy in the world, in the midst of a very bad place to live, with tyrannical regimes bound to destroy her and to destroy us. So that's my report about the AIPAC convention.